Hey everyone, today I've got my WandaVision episode 6 Disney Plus review. It's the Halloween episode like any show usually does nowadays, as you can tell by my makeshift Wanda costume. But is it gonna be spooky? So as far as the story goes, with a Malcolm in the Middle inspired episode, I knew I could tell right off the bat from those opening credits, I was in for a treat. Or maybe a trick. It is the Halloween episode after all, so I was expecting to see some pretty scary things to unfold, or at least along the lines of classic horror themes. And while the kids are getting ready to go trick-or-treating, as well as the adults, I feel like when they're all getting all dressed up in their costumes, it was pretty awesome to see Wanda and Vision donning their comic book accurate, costumes and looking just like those characters. Even Evan Peters, aka Pietro, looks just like comic book Quicksilver. When they walk around the neighborhood, I start to get reminded of a little movie called E.T. and everyone has such unique looking costumes. I mean, it really just stands out, despite the fact that some outlandish things are on the rise. And when those things happen and Vision starts to question, what is all happening, but yet keeps on exploring the neighborhood, and it just gets even more freaky from there. So as far as the casting goes, you've got Elizabeth Olsen, who is really starting to form some sort of bond with Evan Peters. And, maybe when they're talking, they're sort of discovering something new, but then, she's still a really powerful being and having to, deal with all of these, things that keep popping up in the town. And I think there are definitely things that she will end up doing that maybe she will regret. Paul Bettany as Vision learns something new about what Wanda is doing, but is it exactly true? I mean, it's hard to believe that certain people in the show talk about an experience they might not actually be having. It's like when you're actually going crazy. And Evan Peters does tell Wanda that he is her brother, but even if he was known by Darcy as a recast, he certainly doesn't act like his Fox X-Men counterpart. And he proves it every single time he opens his mouth. I mean, I just literally feel like I want to say, nah, don't trust him, Wanda. Something's not right here. And it's like he's trying to manipulate her and trying to tap into her mind, find a weakness, whatnot. I'm just like, girl, you better just kill him now. Or find out who he is and then kill him. The kids, Tommy and Billy, have powers. I think they look really cool, especially walking down the street, stealing people's candy. Kathryn Hahn as Agnes plays a good character, but maybe she's not as good, but she does leave me feeling curious about what that interaction that she had with Vision was all about, because she appeared out of sorts and he was trying to help her. I mean, but then if she's going to turn around and try to wipe him out or something, it's just like, why bother helping people who you think are good in the first place? You would think like, oh, it's going to go a full 180. Or in Agnes's case, make a U-turn back into town with her car. Monica Rambeau might be getting some special powers, so we'll see how that turns out. But it makes sense because it calls back to her comic book origin, and they might explore it, in the next episode. And she and Agent Woo surprise by kicking serious butt to some sword agents, and hopefully that Hayward guy, because he's just not a nice dude. Period. The things that I liked about this episode was obviously the commercial that was being used was like something I would see on Nickelodeon, but it had a message that foreshadowed death, and I'm wondering whose. And Wanda is told by her brother that they went trick-or-treating once as kids, and she doesn't really remember it, but it was to a house that maybe they shouldn't have gone to. Was it like a witch? Was it some like Hansel and Gretel nonsense? And this is like what was, silly about Halloween, versus Scary Halloween, which is when Wanda got a glimpse of a zombie-looking Quicksilver. And shit hits the fan in the third act, which is by far one of the best looking visuals I've ever seen, and it is when Darcy gets sucked into the town that is now changing as a result of Wanda and her ever-increasing powers, and it is just so amazing to look at, and I was just completely blown away by what I saw. It'll be really interesting to see where it goes from here, because now Darcy is involved, and we'll see, what she's gonna have to do in the town. So overall, I would say that this was a really entertaining episode, and normally I don't like shows that do Halloween episodes because I just feel like they're kind of silly and corny, but this episode, worked. I would highly recommend seeing this episode, and I would give this 5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of WandaVision episode 6. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I'll see you guys later.